Okay, so we are currently focusing on penny box 205. Just remember, we are 5% through, or 1/20th of the way through to the next box, the next 100th box, or 300. Ooh, that roll got damaged. Don't really see too many damaged rolls. Not that often in these boxes. Shoot, I put my gloves on and I might have to go to the restroom. I'm early. Damn right you're early. Oh my goodness, good job. I'm gonna try not to get quote unquote bored. I'm not forcing myself to do box searches. Maybe I am. But the only problem is we are going to have a troubled time trying to get the first and second page filled, because especially the first one is almost impossible because of the 1909 VDB. I remember that we're 3 boxes under Clotia, so we gotta go get more. Yeah, the first and second page of the Warman's Wheat Penny box is going to be almost impossible to fill, especially because of key dates like 1931 S, 1914 Denver, 1909 S, and of course the infamous 1909 S VDB are in your wheat penny collection. Of the 140 varieties of wheat pennies, I have 112. 112. I am missing 29 wheat pennies from my collection. All right, let's crack in. Let's do this. Again, getting another new wheat penny for my collection is going to be very scarce, because not including the 1943S, every wheat penny outside the 1943S that I have to get is 50 million minted or lower. If you don't know anything about wheat pennies, oh, and here's the thing, a million. However, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. There may not be more than 20,000 of them circulating. You gotta remember, right? I'm not saying, oh, you're dumb for not remembering. I'm just saying, oh, yeah, remember. That's an old coin. Most of them are most likely gone, destroyed, or lost forever, or melted from private entities. I've actually heard a rumor that there's anywhere between 5 to 20,000 of them still out there. Not just a million, by the way. To get more specific, 400. Oh, there's a Canadian penny. 484,000. 800. Oh, wait, we got a wheat penny. 1955 Denver. Wheat penny number 1. I thought it was 484,000. Or 848,000. 484,000. Not even 500,000. And to the average person, 500,000 pennies sounds like a lot. However, let me put this into perspective. There were no more than 500,000 1909 VDB S's ever struck. There are 550 billion total pennies. Indian head cents, flying eagle cents, wheat pennies, memorial pennies, shield pennies, bicentennial 2009 pennies. 550 billion of that. By the way, if there are 20,000 of those pennies in existence, I calculated the chance of me finding a penny per penny I pick up is 0.000001% chance. I did the math. I am more likely to win the lottery and then get struck by lightning right after that. And I can definitely tell you 100%, I've almost been struck by lightning. I have a better chance of getting struck by lightning tomorrow on a clear day than finding a 1909 VDBS. But nonetheless, I'm not giving up. Another big hurdle to overcome is that the 1909 VDBS is one of the most, if I'm not wrong, the most, it is the one of, if not the most, counterfeited coins in history. Hello, other viewer. If you find a 1909 VDBS being sold outside of a coin slab, do not even touch it or pick it up. It's most likely a scam. I usually say, wait, in my life, I've only seen one. And that bad boy is 2 billion. I think 500 is very rare, yeah. To an average person, 500,000 coins is not a lot. But I want you to consider that in America, we've struck over 840 billion coins. Fun fact, pennies account, like small pennies, including Indian head cents, even like Flying Eagle cents, all the way to the pennies we strike today. There's Canadian pennies. They account for roughly 65.12. There's another wheat penny. 1944 Philly, the rarest wheat penny. Just kidding. 44 Phillies are the most common wheat penny. I want you to remember that pennies actually consist of 65.12, or roughly 65% of every single coin the United States has struck. That means from 1793 all the way to 2025, pennies consist of a whopping 65% of all coins. There are more pennies, there are more small cents than Morgan dollars, all dollar coins, all quarters, all dimes, all half nickels, all 3 cents. Every single other coin, if you put them together, they don't even come close to toppling the amount of pennies that the United States has struck. Let that run through your head. There are more small sets. Actually, there's most likely more memorial sets. There are more of these specific coins than any other coin variety combined on that the United States has ever struck. In fact, if you really want to go farther than this, you could say that, and if you take all of art, maybe even except video, actually no, even including video games, art, including paintings, medals like coins and medallions, and drawings, video games, in terms of like art pieces, the memorial penny might be, I mean, we could probably take a step and say non-digital art. Of all physical pieces of art, the memorial penny might be the most common replication of art on Earth that is not digital. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it is the most common, including digital, because again, roughly 510 plus billion memorial pennies have been struck. It is probably without the doubt saying that due to the United States being the richest country and striking the most coins, it's definitely easy to say that the memorial pennies are the most common coin on Earth, overpopulating literally every single coin design. Like in terms of coin design, Lincoln cents are the most common coin on Earth. The ones you see me open every single day. There are more of these things than there are people on Earth. How many people have lived in history? Let's see, how many people? 117 billion people. That's right. If you resurrected every single human on this planet, and you resurrected all the pennies we've struck, and you distributed them, every human on Earth that's ever lived could receive 4. That's how many. We have struck more pennies than people have lived on this planet ever since we first walked on it. Put that through your head. There are more pennies than total people that ever struck. Have ever walked. The amount of coins in the world is way, 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 way bigger than 500,000 coins. There are properly around. Yeah, for an accurate count, actually, I actually have this thing. Watch this, chat. I'm gonna take a quick break, like minor break. U.S. coin mintage. I took this from uscoins.com, and I have divided it into this. So, for example, again, and you go at the bottom, and you can see, for example, San Francisco struck 86,749,000,000. Actually, no, I'm wrong. They struck 8,674,077,226 from 1773 to 2023. And that right there is the total amount of coins ever struck by the United States government from 1773 to 2023. Did bro lag out? So we... Ooh. That's an uncommon Weedy. Yo, look at that. I hope that kid comes back in chat. If he is not a kid, I'm sorry. 1911 Denver. Is it an 11 Denver? Oh, never mind. Ah, never mind. We got baited. It's a 1918 Denver. I thought it was a 1911 Denver. I do have a 1911 Denver. Yeah, it says 191, but you can definitely see the 8 in there. See it? It looks like a 1911. You can see the 8. That's actually a very common coin. I have them. I have one. Let's see, 1918. 48 million. That's rare. No matter if it's a 1911 or a 1918, it's a pretty uncommon coin. Well, how many 11s exist? 1911 exists. 11 Denvers. 13 million of those. $13 million of those, and 48 million. Either way, it's under that 50 million. What is that website with the coins made? I need that. All right, that's 1918 Denver. We already got one. That would be number 3. Give me a second, my friend. It's called mycoinguides.com, and you go to Mintage. That is a custom spreadsheet, and it took me like 5 days to put it together. And that's it. That is the first time we've gotten a 50 million, 00. I'm just putting this on my highlight. So again, the 1918 Denver is not that rare. Actually, it's a little bit uncommon. It's probably one of the most uncommon of the year. Actually, watch this. You want to see an awesome spreadsheet? It took me another like 1.5 weeks to assemble. Check this out. So it's a little bit off in terms of like the rarity. Watch this. I have wheat penny. Give me a second, chat. Wheat penny mintage breakdown. 1918 Denver ranks number 54 for rarest out of 140. So that's pretty good. I might be one, so it's either 58, either 54, 53, or 55. But yeah. Not bad find. I appreciate finding a rare... Ooh. I appreciate finding a rarer wheat penny because I haven't been finding one like under the 50 million mint mark. I call them quote unquote a little bit rare under the 50 million mint mark. Again, not extremely common, but you're not going to find them every single day. Yeah, definitely a 1918 Denver. I didn't hear all the... MyCoinGuides.com. Hope you heard that one. You want to hear a tip? Can I sniff out like more potential wheat pennies? You're gonna notice that if you are a no life like me, and you do this for so long, you're gonna start realizing that like zinc pennies and copper pennies just have a different tint. Sometimes they look the exact same. Like for example, I could tell you what is a copper and what is a zinc if you just show me the reverse. Like if it was a memorial, right? And you show me the reverse, I could do it with, let's say, 75 to 80% accuracy. Again, there's always outliers. However, you want to always be careful of the sneaky wheat pennies that look like they've never seen a day in their life, but they're obverse up. You can easily miss them if you're not trained to notice the dates. No, I will say, you know what is a rarity? Any wheat penny before 19, I'd say 30, that is in very good condition. Especially like 1910s, mint marks with very good condition is a sight only once in a lifetime type thing. Now, usually I kind of have like a rough percentage. Like, if you really think about it, I'd say a lot of the pennies, I think, before 1930 only have survivability rates of as low as 10%. Just imagine that. 17 Philly. I wonder how long it'll take me to get 1990 VDBS. I will say there is an interesting alternative. If you go to California, like I search my boxes in Central Illinois. They're all sourced from Central to East Central Illinois. And if you go to California, California boxes drop 6 times the estimates compared to boxes in Illinois. Okay, we're 10 rolls in. We should have 2 wheat pennies. We got 3. Let's keep going. Just 2 Woodies. 1941. Alright, what are you? Get out of here. 1941 Philly. Wheat penny number 4. But mycoinguides.com is a pretty good source to go for mintages. Because if you don't know, the Fed usually reports the mintages. Also, if you go to bep.com, I think monthly report, did you know that the BEP is required to, I think that it's required to publicize all of their data. You can go to the BEP's official website, and you can go see how many bills they've printed and if they are star notes. Ooh, good amount of copper. There's gotta be wheat penny. Yep, there's one right there. There's a Canadian penny. Let me go pick that weedy up here in a couple seconds. Canadian, and there's 1948 Denver wheat penny number 5. You know what? Where do I get... that's my spreadsheet. I built that spreadsheet. However, I'm going to probably see if I can link it. Guys, I don't want to be that person. I'm going to take a very quick break. Please give me a minute. I will be back. I have to go to the bathroom. I will not elaborate further, but it is not good, okay? So I will be back in like a minute or a half, okay? Be right back. Okay, I'm back. That wasn't long. That was not bad. Trust me. I'm not going to elaborate too much, but if I don't go, then I will have a bad day at work. Trust me, when I get a stomachache at work, it's over. I work as a dishwasher, and that means I gotta constantly be like up and available, or else I will get drowned out in dishes. Trust me, if you don't know, when you get a ton of dishes just flooding your table as a dishwasher, it sucks. That is a really sucky feeling. Give me a second to get my new set of gloves on and my headset that I left on the other side of this table. Yeah. Honestly, I calculate that at my current rate of searching wheat pennies, at one box a day, and the rarity stays the same, I could take up to 11 years to yield a wheat penny. But there's a possibility. Imagine if I sourced theoretically 1,000 boxes from California, I'd get one. Mathematically, I could theoretically do one. Yeah. Okay, buddy, are you there? Because if you are, I will tell you some tips on how to make the spreadsheet. Okay, so here's how I built it, and you can copy off me. Hold on, hold on. Give me a second. Only people with the link. I want to see if I can make I want to see if I can make a link and add it. That way you can copy it. Because I want to publish this data. Hold on, give me a second. I need to search up on my iPad. Let's see. Share button. Let's see. Give me a second, chat. I'm going to see if I can publish the link. Why is a lot of the double dies on the obverse? I'm not too sure. Click, drop an arrow, and select anyone with link. Share the modified link. Give me a second. I'm going to try to see if I can get this where I can make it. If I do this, I will save you actual hours of your time. Manage access. Give me a second. Yeah, you keep blacking out. I'm not too sure. Let's see. I'm going to go to my channel, youtube.com. I'm going to go... Okay, now I'm on my stream. Edit video. And save. Now reload the stream and check the description. Okay, chat. That's a copy. So in case someone can edit my copy, I have the original copy. So that way no one can grief it. But chat, if you want to see the mintage breakdown, reload this page and look in the description. You should find it. And don't try to grief it, because if you do, guess what? I got a bonus copy. That's my copy. You can obviously see it. So yeah. Again, if you can get your hands on that copy, Roblox player, I will save you at least 20 hours of putting it together. Probably not 20, but probably like 5 or so, because it's a pain in the ass to put together. I copy-pasted the data directly from that website, so there it is. Mintage data varies very slightly between sources, but that one is my favorite. Hey, look, someone got my thing. There we go. I'm not going to read your complete email address out, or whoever it is, but if the email address, and it starts with an A and a P, and they have a blue A on it, I'm not going to dox you, but if that's you, you got viewership, buddy. Are you viewing my sheet right now? Okay. Feel free to make a copy. I do not care if you make a copy of it. Oh, hey, what the hell? 1926 Denver. Oh my god, that was sitting in front of my face. I may not have that one. Oh, I do. If only it was the S variety. 1926 Denver. That is 31 million struck. That's 2 rare wheat pennies. That's awesome. Hell yeah, that's a good find. Too bad if it was an S, it'd be my rarest sweet penny. So yeah, feel free. You can copy it. You can save it to your drive. No viruses at all. Trust me. If anybody thinks I can put a virus in there, I can't even download exploits. Will you download? You're welcome. Yeah, that's going to save you shitloads of time. It may be mildly inaccurate because there's 140 varieties, but I have 139 rarities. So you can maybe make it, adjust it, whatever. Actually, that was wheat penny rarity. Give me a second. Give me a second. That's wheat penny rarity. Give me a second. I'm going to give you the mother load of databases. Manage that. Copy a link. Edit my stream. Save video. Okay, so I have the US Mintage saved in my video. If you want to get to it, you need to reload this page and reload the stream. Check the description, and that should be the database down there. Oh, there's another readie. Enjoy it. Actually, that one also took me a long time. 1957 Denver. We pay number 6. And by the way, you can also make a copy of that data page. That is very useful. That's raw data right there. So you can use it to make charts. You can make accumulation charts. You can make. Oh, give me a second. And I got you. And there you go. You're good. That right there, again, you can make charts out of it. You can make rarity tables out of it. You can do anything. Copy it, and it's yours. That one took me at least 5-10 hours to put together. But that's all the data I could scrape off of mycoinguides.com. Again, if you're a coin person, that is a spreadsheet motherload right there. Canadian penny. Whew. I really hope you can find that one useful. Yeah, you should have gotten it now. kind of dumb that I have to send a request because I have to approve of a request, and yeah, I can't. There's a way you can actually see the link at 17 Philly. You're welcome. Yeah, you are very welcome. It is. So, if you don't know, here's how the data is worked out. It is spread out over the 8 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, New Orleans, Carson City, Dahlonega, Charlotte, Carson City, and the West Point Mint. All of those are... The only thing is, I will say, that does not count proof coins. That does not count proofs. It's all business strikes. So that I will say, that's the only downside to that, is that there are no proofs. And the only reason I didn't do proofs is because I don't do proofs, and rarity on proofs is very weird. Except for unlike, normal coins, you can just dig them out of circulation, proofs don't really enter circulation as common. So yeah, there's just no proofs on that. And that data is a little bit old, but with that website, you should be able to fill in the dots. I just don't have 2024 and 2025, so it's only missing 2 years of data. Oh no, not 2024 doesn't really count, or 25 doesn't really count right now because we've not completed the year. But you basically got 9. Oh yeah, I know the Carson City, Charlotte, and New Orleans mint. So yeah, all the mints there except for Manila. Which Manila is a very vague mint. That didn't really make that many coins. It was in the Philippines. We shut it down. So at the bottom, it's separated with thick lines, and at the bottom you can see how many coins the mint struck. And at the bottom you can see the complete total of how many coins were struck between 1793 and 2023. Another Wheatie. 1958 Denver. Wheat penny number 7. Again, too bad I did not get a 1926S, but I'll take a 26 Denver. Definitely above the 1926 Philly. 09. Yeah, if you look at the Carson City parts of that chart, you can definitely see why Carson City is coveted. Because there's literally nothing. There's barely anything. Also, you're going to also notice, what I noticed, is that, Dahlonega and Charlotte only struck, silver and gold coins. And they both started in 1938, or 1838, along with the New Orleans Mint. Charlotte and Dahlonega were shut down following their Confederate takeover. The New Orleans Mint was also temporarily invaded by the Confederates. After we got rid of them, the it continued until 1909, I believe. Also, here's a trivia. There's only one mint that has its original building and is still being used. And that answer would be Denver. Philadelphia is on its 4th building, essentially. The San Francisco is on its 3rd, and Denver is its only building. The Denver Mint was actually what we call an ASA office. I'll start playing here in a second. We got 20 rolls in. We should have 4 wheat pennies. 4 wheat pennies. We got 7. Yep, wondering what in the hell is an ASA office? An ASA office. Ooh. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a 34 Philly. 1944 Philly, wheat penny number 8. And what the hell do we have here? It looks like this 1992. No, it's a wide AM, but it looks like the rim is a little bit odd on this one. Possibly an annealing error. That's weird. I've seen those on some quarters, but I've never seen one on a penny before. How about West Point? West Point is the newest. Actually, that's the or 1946 Philly wheat penny number 9. Good job, you caught me there. Actually, I didn't even notice that. That and West Point. Denver, I would say, is the only one that makes. The only one currently making business strikes that has its first building is Denver. But if you include all mints, West Point and Denver are the same one. Now, I was saying about an ASA office. Back in the day, when you get your gold, you bring it to an ASA office, and they tell you how much gold's in it. However, in 1906, following a good government program, the ASA office in Denver was transformed, or a major ASA office was transformed from ASA office to the Denver Mint that we know today. Canadian penny. In the entire history, to my knowledge, yeah, it does look like a nickel rim. In the entire history of the mint has only suffered from one successful robbery, and that one was from the Denver Mint. I'm pretty sure they were a little bit like, oh, hey, you can kind of come visit, but after that, they're way more secure now. So again, that one, that mint is the only mint to ever get robbed successfully. Another fact is that unfortunately, the sad thing is the first Philadelphia Mint, or Ye Olde Mint, as it was known, which is the first mint ever established in the country, unfortunately suffered a fire in, I believe, 1811 or 1815. The early 1810s, it did suffer a fire. Early to mid 1810s, the first Philadelphia Mint suffered a fire and the building was lost. So the original mint for the country is gone. And again, as I said before, Philadelphia is on their 4th building. I have visited only one mint, and that was the 3rd San Francisco Mint. And it's located, of course, San Francisco, 17 Philly. And the interesting thing about that mint is that it's on a hill. Hello, viewer. And it looks like a castle. It's just right. It's just right in the middle. It's on Market Street, which is a street that goes from. Oh, hold on, guys. 1957 Denver, wheat penny number 10. Man, we're doing good on this box. There's a Canadian penny. Market Street is a street that runs. It's a major street in San Francisco. It runs from southwest to northeast. By the way, if you ever go to San Francisco, beware of Market Street because it is very congested. And traffic on Market Street is very, very heavy. Also, down the street from northeast of the San Francisco Mint, or the 3rd one, is the San Francisco Federal Reserve, or Federal Reserve number L12. Also, did you know that the United States, I think the United States government, or some, let's all see your coin that you have. Probably 1854, but I bought it. I did not find it. I bought it. It was the large penny I have mentioned. I was saying, did you know that the second mint, or the second San Francisco Mint, which is known as the Granite Lady, ironically, it's constructed with limestone and not granite. It was sold for $1. A $1 coin. That's it. Give me a second. I have to pull that up. Let's see. I have to rephrase that. Give me a second. And for a fat price of $15,000 and starting, you can successfully get married at the second San Francisco Mint, as you can now pay money to go get married there, which means that you get to pay money for a marriage certificate and then pay more money to host an expensive ass wedding at the second San Francisco Mint. In 2003, the federal government sold it for a symbolic $1. You see, what was it? It was a Morgan coin or something. Yeah, the federal government sold an entire mint or an X mint in 2003 for $1. Let's see. What was it? I don't know. But anyway, you've asked about the W Mint. What is it? So the West Point Mint in West Point, New York, was founded and completed in 1984, making it the newest mint. Hello, viewer. Now, currently, the West Point Mint strikes like the really good stuff. I want you to imagine West Point is like San Francisco, but they strike better coins and more rarer coins. SW is one of the rarest mint marks. They strike gold, silver, platinum, and platinum coins. They strike coins only for collectors, and those coins are very expensive, and they can range up to thousands of dollars. However, West Point has had a very brief history of striking public coins. In 2019 and 2020, the West Point Mint struck 20 million West Point quarters, 2 million quarters per variety. And, well, Canadian penny. How mints actually work, when they ship out their coins, they bag them up in these huge bags, and I think they send them out to bagging areas. However, West Point delivered these quarters into the Denver and Philadelphia Mint and sprinkled them into these bags, therefore ensuring that these coins were distributed finely. Today, they wander circulation, and they can go for about $6 a pop, and for very pristine ones, you can go for hundreds of dollars, if not at least the low thousands mark. The rarity of a W Mint sits probably roughly around either 1 in 4,400, but I bet you now it's probably grown to 1 in 4,800. So you have a 1 in 4,500-ish chance to get a West Point quarter from any quarter. Charlotte was a very, very briefly lived mint. It only struck gold. Pretty sure I did a whole project on mints for college. And what I learned is that there's another Canadian penny, a lot of them here. In the areas around Charlotte, there was gold discovered, or there was this gold discovered a little bit of a distance away. So back in the day, you would sell your gold to an assay office, and then you get your money paid, and then that assay office would sell it to the mint, who would strike gold coins known as eagles, quarter eagles, half eagles, or double eagles. Charlotte and Dahlonega only struck gold coins. They did not strike anything other than gold coins. They were shut down after the Confederates invaded. Well, honestly, that's a very tricky question to answer. It's actually 1913 vehicles are very weird. They could have either been struck by accident by the feds, or a worker could have gone in, snuck in, and struck them. It is actually unknown how they exist, but I'd almost place my money on the fact somebody did go in and do it. Here's the thing, right? Here's where I have to draw a line, and here's a problem with what I'm saying. Why would the United States... For a brief background, Philadelphia actually designs the dies and sends them out to other mints. So, for example, the San Francisco coins were struck by a die that was made in the Philadelphia Mint. So, Philadelphia makes other mints dies and sends them out. 1949 Philly. Wheat penny number 11. But here's where I'm going to get at, right? Why the hell would Philadelphia... Oh, there's another wheat penny. 1956 Denver. Wheat penny number 12. Why would Philadelphia make a die, get all that trouble while making a die, and strike it only 5 times? Or use it 5 times? Unless it was a modified version of a 1912 die. I don't know. But yeah, they were most likely illegally made. I want to search that. Let's see, how was it made? Overview says, it was not intended for circulation and not officially produced by the U.S. Mint. They have been struck secretly, possibly by a mint employee, after the design was officially replaced by the Buffalo nickel. So yeah, that is the main... Also seems like errors is too crazy to be a natural error. Some errors have like crazy errors. I don't trust them to be natural. Sometimes you gotta do that. For example, I do know that, of course, and you're gonna know this story. You may not know it, but it's led to one of the most infamous pennies being struck. And I'm pretty sure... if I'm not wrong, in 1955, somebody, and it was all great, the Denver Mint, until, so they looked at the coins, the pennies being struck, and they realized they just accidentally double struck a ton of 1955 Denver pennies. 44,000 of these pennies were struck, but only 20,000 of them escaped. Now these are known as the 1955 double die, one of the most infamous pennies. You can actually see right here. 20 rolls in, we should have 6 wheat pennies. We got 12. Yay, let's go. We're doing good. And we found rare wheat pennies. Like I will say, in terms of errors, I will say, I don't want to break anybody's hopes and dreams, but I will say this disclaimer. For people searching coins, making a ton of money, you have to search for a very long time, and you have to get very, very lucky. I think the most amount of money I can make off a coin is probably $50, because I found a pretty nice 1980, or 1998, White AM. Excuse me. The 1955 penny error has to be the most famous. Yeah, it is one of the most famous. Actually, the most famous double die example. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the worker on that shift not knowing he just struck the most infamous double die? I mean, like, a lot of double dies are phased into each other. Like, both the numbers are phased into each other. But unlike most of them, the 55s are separate numbers, which I don't think anything like that exists outside of this current scenario. Let's see, how is it 55? How is it made? When was created when working a hub, when a working hub was struck against a working die in a slight misalignment during the hubbing process, the meant striking a hub, a hardened steel punch on the coin's design is softer blank. The die maker made a slight misalignment. Can you imagine that oopsie? Again, if I'm not wrong, 40,000 were struck, but only half of them got out. The mint usually, and I mean this in a very, very loose term, they usually have quality control. Have you ever heard about... I'll ship 2 likes. Oh, nice. Thank you. It says I only got 1, though. And I don't mind. Oh, there's a wheat penny. It could be rare, because look at the... 1920S? Do I got one of those? Please somebody has got another one. That's got to be a little bit uncommon. No, I have one, but it's got 46 million struck. That's lucky. Holy crap. That is a... Where did it go? Oh, it's on my scanner. 1920S. Damn, we got... I'm knocking over all my penny rolls here. 57, 30 seconds. Holy hell, more of this, please. 1920S. Got 3 rare wheat pennies, or 3 pennies under the 50 million mint mark, or mintage population, in 1 box. That's very lucky. Not like a, I'm not including like a Brenner box. Which, by the way, a box that drops 50 or more wheat pennies, I've labeled them as Brenner boxes as a nod to the name God Box. The reason I call them Brenner boxes is because that's who designed the wheat penny, Brenner, Victor David Brenner to be exact. But do you know why the 1909 VDBS is so rare? And do you actually know the story behind the 1909 VDBS? Or the VDBs in general? Here's another wheat penny. Estimate. 1947 Denver. Wheat penny number 14. But I'll tell you what, actually Roblox. Do you know, before I say it, do you know what the whole story behind the VDBS is? It's actually very interesting. This one I know 100% is right. An estimate in 1 box, it's roughly, you probably at least have like an 85% chance, or like a 95, actually like a 95% chance to get an estimated penny. I'd say probably about a 20% chance to get an estimated wheat penny. Estimated wheat pennies are relatively common, not as common as their Denver and Philadelphia counterparts. I think they're the least rare, or the least common. 1957 Denver. Another wheat penny. Wheat penny number 15. But why is the 1909 VDBS so rare? Well, the VDBs are actually the first pennies, the first Lincoln cents to actually be struck. But why did they switch from it? Well, back in the day when they switched the pennies from the Indian heads, the Lincoln set, when they heard the Lincoln set was dropping, that was very popular. People actually lined up to go get the new Lincoln pennies. But people found out at the bottom, there's no 9, that Victor David Brenner, or Victor V. David B. or Victor B, V. David D. Brenner B. BDB, his initials were on the back of the coin. People did not like this, and it became a controversial feature because they thought he was advertising. So, as a result, the United States Mint pulled the 1909 VDBs. However, people did hoard some of them, and they struck more 1909 pennies. There's a Canadian penny. They struck more 1909 pennies without his initials on it. And because of this controversy, the 1909 VDBS has become extremely rare and the rarest Lincoln cent ever struck. Like, not including errors, like just raw mint, like year data. The 1909 VDBS is the rarest wheat penny and penny ever struck from the United States Mint, where the mintage is low as 484,000, but it is estimated that no more than 20,000 exist that are circulating today. 17 Philly. However, the ironic thing about this controversy, it was all for nothing because today Victor David Brenner has initials on the front of the penny. You can find them on Lincoln's coat right there. On the bottom left. It's so dumb how they complained about his initials being on the penny, when now every single time a new coin gets designed, if you look hard enough, you can find the initials of the designer, which I think is okay. Oh. Oh, 59. Oh, there's Weedy. 1956 Denver. Wheat penny number 16. Not bad, actually. We're doing pretty good. We got a good amount of wheat pennies, and we have 3 wheat penny. Oh, there's another wheat penny. 1954 Denver. Another one, 1917 Philly. Usually don't get this many out of Chases. Chases... Oh, what the shit? That penny's have to be placed off to the side. That penny's been beat. That penny does not need to go through the... The reason I have to set those off to the side is I'll hammer them because they are garbage and they will not go through my machines. This box is getting really good. This box is pretty good so far. Imagine if every box I got had like 50 wheat pennies in them. Okay, last roll of this group. After this, we got 10 more. One more roll, and then you use the machine. Yep. Actually, no, not one more. We got 10 more rolls to go. After this. 17 Philly. You know what's funny is I spent all this time going for machines. 17 Philly. All the money I've spent on getting coin machines, I could have bought a 1909 VDBS. But is my chance of finding a 1909 VDBS very, very, very low? Yes. But my pride I have so much pride to say I found one. Again, I know the odds are heavily stacked against me. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, am I right? Alright. We got this many rolls to go for. 10 rolls to go. We should have 8 wheat pennies. We got 17. 17. And I'm going to say a shitty joke here. 17 is the age of the oldest person at Diddy's parties. Haha, funny. I'll go F off real quick. Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, my humor's garbage. Mind me. I will say, I did a calculation. My old rate, I'd have 1909 VDBS in 400 years, and now I'll have it in 11. And if I did every box from California, it could be as low as 2 or 3. At less than 2 years. Can you imagine that? My plan, if I get rich, and if I get more money from a wind turbine job, I will actually pack lots of money. Oh, 9. And I will go to California, and I will get as many boxes as I physically can. 1946 Philly. We pay number 18. Again, if you are wondering, that is my senile German Shepherd. He is old. He's 11. Or 9. But if I can do it, one day I want to try to see if I can get 5 boxes from every state, or at least 1 box every state. My only logistical issue is Hawaii and Florida, or Hawaii and Alaska, that do not, 1, they do not have chases, so that's going to be difficult, and 2, I have limits on how heavy I can get my cargo on a flight. Oh, there is a Canadian penny. Dude, I feel bad for coin searchers in Alaska or Hawaii or any, like, U.S. territory. Your luck has to be absolutely rough with low circulation. If you live in Alaska or Hawaii, you are serviced by District 12. And if you are in, like, Puerto Rico or Guam, I know, like, Guam is 12. I'm pretty sure Puerto Rico and Costa Rico. No, I think it's Puerto Rico. You are serviced by District 3 or New York. Federal District 12 is the biggest district of all of the 12. One day, my family wants to go to Yellowstone, and I will attempt to go see the Denver Mint. I will try to get some pennies. Another logistical issue is I Like, I want to get, like, an RV. I definitely want to see if I can get either that or a diesel vehicle so I can haul more weight. And another logistical issue is that I'm going to have to start gathering pennies. Like, I actually thought about, like, getting more boxes than I usually do so I could slowly gather pennies. And gather and build up. That way one day I can execute a plan of going to the West Coast and just buying as many of them as I can. Imagine if I could scoop up as many penny boxes. The good thing is with my machine and my ability to trade, I could get my amount of penny boxes is unlimited. Damn, and there again. But the problem is, I live in Illinois, and that's not close to the West Coast. However, I have an interesting idea. Interstate 80. If you don't know, Interstate 80 runs right through Illinois, and it goes to Denver. That's right. Interstate 80 is a one-stop shop to Denver. Also in Illinois, we have Interstate 90 that goes all the way from Boston to Seattle. We also got interstates. We got 70, 80, and 90. So we have 3 major horizontal interstates to travel from. I don't think we have 60, though. But man, the logistics and costs of doing such a thing would be absolutely nuts. That's why I wish I had an RV. To serve a diesel. Diesel could help me more. Diesel engines are more expensive, but they can haul more heavier loads, and they consume a little bit less fuel. Exactly, we only got like 4 rolls, including this one. Let's see, an interesting area to avoid is Interstate 101 or Highway 101, the same one that connects the what do you call it? The Golden Gate Bridge. That would not be a good one to run. Imagine if that luck extended all the way like Nevada or Colorado. Colorado is way better to get to than California. Or Denver. I don't Denver. How many chases are in Denver? I would love to have tons of boxes. Hell, you can imagine if I could help my friends to go and get some of them and divide up for me. The biggest issue I can see is 1 is weight, 2 is money, 3 is the cost of transportation, and 4, which is a big stinger, is the opening and closing times. When operating for banks, you only got 8 hours to do whatever you want to go get them. However, that could be a great thing because you can, outside of those 8 hours, you can either drive to another location or you can go take some sleep. You can go to sleep in an RV and then wake up and go repeat it. Another issue would be food. You'd have to take time to go get food. Wheat penny. 1942 Philly. We pay number 19. Can we please get 20? There's 20. That's it. That was this is a very good box. 17 Philly. One more roll. Yep. Say if you don't open them, they'll chuck you against the wall. Can we get one more wheat penny? Oh, I don't think so. Ah, bummer. We got 19, which is still pretty good. 20 would have been a smooth number. Ready. Oh, 9. Done. Another issue I would also think is that if I had a car, I'd go so far that I'd probably have to get like 3 oil changes, which is insane. The amount of miles being put on a vehicle like that would definitely stress it out. Ooh. Imagine if I took a diesel truck and I hooked it up to a U-Haul trailer or a custom trailer and just stocked it. I will say an RV is nice, but the only problem is, yes, good comfort, but cramming into banks is not a good idea because it's big, it's bulky, not efficient. Anyway, let's start filing this into the database. Oh my gosh, I have to go to work in like half an hour. Every time I end, I put this into a database. Bless you. Eight, 6, 2025. Amount of coin, 2,500. Batch name, penny box, 105, 205. Amount of pennies, 2,500. Wheat pennies, 19. Bicentennials. 7 of those. 17 Phillies. 11 of those. S-mints, 1. Woodies. 5 of those. Canadian pennies. A lot, actually. A lot of Canadian pennies. 10 Canadian pennies. That's pretty high. And 0 Indian heads. And now for what I said. Ooh, better get that penny chute out of there, or else the pennies will jam. You know what's going on, guys. Damn it. $584 coppers. Ah, shoot. We dropped our 17 Phillies. Damn it. The good thing is we have the database. We can see how many we got and see how many we've had to pick up. 2025. How many 17 Phillies do we have? 11? 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. We got them all. Okay, that was a pretty good day today. We finally, after a long time, we got a good amount of rarer wheat pennies. We got 1926S, 1918 Dent, a 1920S, 1916 Den, 1918 1920S, 1918 Denver, and 1926 Denver. Too bad we didn't get a 26S, but again, beggars can't be choosers here. Let's see. So we finished the copper bucket about 2 weeks ago. Let's see. We were probably already a fifth of the way through this copper bucket. Yeah. Okay, chat. Thank you for watching. Tonight we'll be doing a bit more Borderlands 3. I think I'll farm one of the Guardian things, and tomorrow we'll be doing Astroneer, hopefully doing our battery. And, of course, we will also be doing Pennybox 206. Thank you for watching, and, yeah, we'll be back tonight streaming. Be sure to catch me if you want to, and, yeah.